Welcome to the Tough Decisions Network for Entrepreneurs. I'm Dan Handford, and my wife, Dennae, and I interview successful people sharing stories behind tough decisions that they've had to make along their journey as an entrepreneur. On the podcast with us today is Todd Collins. Todd, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that.
Hey, Todd, we appreciate you sitting down with us and chatting for a few minutes. And we'd like for you to start us off by telling our audience and us a little bit about your background as an entrepreneur and where your focus is right now.
Yeah, so I started, believe it or not, I started in the car business. I literally got out of high school, did not want to go to college. I tried college, dropped out of college, and started kind of needling through the newspaper, and I was looking for a job, and I started in the car business. But I always had kind of like side hustles, and the side hustles would be like, just like selling stuff at yard sales and things of that nature. And eventually I got to the point where I got an opportunity to kind of branch out on my own. It was, it's funny, you guys call this the Tough Decisions Network podcast, but I mean, that's what it was. I was in a situation where I had to make a decision. I was going to go this way or I was going to stick with working for somebody else. And I chose the latter, and I don't regret it.
I want you to start us off by talking to us about a tough decision that you've had to make as an entrepreneur that I like to call a sore thumb tough decision, but you learn lots of lessons through it. So can you share with the listeners a little bit about that tough decision?
Yeah, there's one in particular, and it kind of just always sticks with me. I had the opportunity, like I said, I was in the car business, and I had an opportunity to start my own car dealership. And I remember writing down, by the time I was 30 years old, now this is over 10 years ago, by the time I'm 30 years old, I want to own my own car dealership. And lo and behold, around the age of 29, I had the opportunity to do that. I took a couple $100,000 in cash that I had worked very hard for, and invested into this dealership. The store was doing great over a 4-year, 5-year span. And then unfortunately, partnerships don't always work out. And we were faced with a situation where we had to shut the dealership down, and I had to kind of start over. And I had a family at that time, and I wasn't really prepared to make a decision from that standpoint. So I had to go back into the car business and work from there. Now, if you fast forward from that situation, I had an opportunity, and I never fault any of my employees for this, but I had an opportunity. I was doing really well at this dealership. I had an opportunity to go and interview for a job at another dealership, more money, closer to home, things of that nature. The owner of that place found out about it and fired me. And so, again, I was left kind of in those situations. And my business partner came to me, my current business partner came to me and said, look, here's the deal. You can keep going down this road where you're an amazing salesperson, you're amazing with people, you can do all these things. Or he's like, let's try this. He's like, I have this opportunity. I want to start this company with you. What do you think about it? And I said, okay, let's do it. And we started with no clients, no money. By the way, in the middle of this, guys, I was being sued for $2.5 million by my ex-business partner. I won that case, by the way. And I was also going through a bankruptcy. So through all that, I basically had lost my car, had no car, had no money in the bank, had nothing. I was literally I had no money, and we were struggling, and but we were getting by. And I was able to build my business every single day in and day out. I was in my basement, calling people, emailing people from 6 in the morning all the way up until 3 in the morning, finding different ways where I could get in touch with people. And, fast forward 5-6 years later, we're a multi-million-dollar digital agency.
That is pretty cool. That's amazing. Now, when you were doing the car sales business, did you have another business kind of on the side as like a side hustle?
Yeah. So kind of the side hustle there was more or less like just consulting. So other dealers would call me, and they would, ask my advice on what maybe they were doing wrong, if I could help them from that standpoint. I've always done sales online. I've always sold things online. So I've always side hustled on eBay. Back then it was like eBay and Craigslist. Now, and I still to this day, I'm not joking with you, I can send screenshots. Like, I still sell on eBay. I still sell on Craigslist. I sell things on Facebook Marketplace. I'm obsessed with the Goodwill. I'm obsessed with things like yard sales and things of that nature. I've always loved that. And I think that actually goes back to like my mom and my grandmother used to always take me to those things, and they were really big bargain shoppers. And I still am a massive bargain shopper. And there's nothing more important to me than getting a bargain. So, the digital world kind of makes it so much easier now where I can, quickly, buy a shirt that I really like. It's maybe like $100 shirt, wear it a couple times, sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $125 and walk out of there with a $25 profit. It's pretty funny, but it's fun. Have always been my side hustles, and believe it or not, have helped. They've saved my life before.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I have some people in my family, they do the same thing where they actually go to various, yard sales and Goodwills and, other types of, thrift stores and buy things and, can turn around and sell them and just make a really big profit off of it.
Yeah. I mean, people don't realize the opportunity that you really do have. And these particular outlets actually make it even easier now, right? So like you could go into, and this is truth and anybody can do it, find a real dollar store. Like a real dollar. There's a lot of stores out there that say they're like dollar stores, but they're not. But there's real dollar stores out there where everything in there is $1, right? Go in those places and take $200 with you, buy $200 worth of things in that place and take them and flip them on these different avenues. It's funny because, Vaynerchuk's doing it now, but I've been doing it. I wish I would have documented it back then. But if you go into these places, there's so many different opportunities for you to be able to kind of like double and triple your money from these kind of wholesale outlet stores. It's pretty amazing. I'm really lucky where we live. We've got like antique malls and a lot of yard sales and a lot of Goodwills where, I stop in there probably every week and just rummage through things. And it's actually really fun for me. Like I really enjoy it. And I've got my kids involved in it now and everything. So, we jump up and down when we sell something to make a profit. It's fun.
Well, and I don't know very many people that we've had on the podcast that are really excited to have a bunch of, antique stores around in their neighborhood, but that's a very good reason as to why you'd want to have that. That's really cool, especially how you involve your kids with it too.
Well, the whole goal is to, show them that in a worst case scenario, you can still survive if you work hard and you put your nose to the grindstone, and that, it's important to me now. The reason I document so much about what I'm doing now and what I go through and why I kind of share like not just the good stuff, because that's what a lot of these guys do out there. They share only the good stuff. And I've really tried to be completely accessible and transparent about everything that I've gone through. And I want them to see all that. So if they're ever in that situation where they've hit like, rock bottom, that they know that there's a path and there's a way to get out of it. And that also, when you get to that point, and I really wish more people, I hate to say this, but I really wish more people would actually get into that situation and be at that rock bottom point, because once you're there and you get out of it, you have no fear of ever going back there. So like if I were to lose everything tomorrow, I'm not scared at all because I know I can start over quickly and do it again. And that's where a lot of people, once they get knocked down once, a lot of these people, they stay down. And what I try to preach to people is like, I don't care where you are right now. I promise you, if I can do this and I can get out of it, you guys can too. And that's kind of what leads us into some of the new things that we're doing now.
So let's shift here a little bit and talk about a tough decision that you've had to make as an entrepreneur that had a really good and positive outcome and the lessons through that one.
Yeah, I just kind of going back to what it was, where the tough decision that sticks out in my head was, do I stay in the car business or do I branch out on my own and really, go and do this by myself and not count on anyone else but myself to build a team, to build a business, and to actually help other business owners. That was the toughest decision. It was like, okay, I've got 4 kids that I've got to take care of. I have to either go not be selfish in this situation and say, all right, I'm just going to go. And in the car business, you can make a lot of money. So it's not like we're talking about little numbers here. We're talking 6 figures, a year. Or do I sacrifice and do I make my family sacrifice for, whatever period of time? And do I do this on my own? And hopefully it works. And that is a huge risk. And that is the definition, in my opinion, of an entrepreneur. It's someone who is fearless of risk. And I was like, you know what? If I'm really an entrepreneur, I can't fear the risk of the failure. And so that was the decision that I made. I said, screw it, I'm doing it. And I have plenty of time. If it doesn't work, I have plenty of time to start over again. And so that was the decision that I made. And like I said, lo and behold, the tough decision was made. I jumped into the entrepreneurial waters, shark-infested waters. And 5-6 years later, we have this multi-million-dollar agency. We're making massive partnerships. We're helping a lot of people. I have more time with my family, but I also, hold dear that work ethic that was instilled in me years ago, that I will not stop until we are the number one digital agency in the world, and people will laugh at that and be like, there's no way you can do it. Well, people laugh at everybody. Those kind of things don't affect me at all. And so, was it the right decision? 100%. I don't regret any of the decisions made. I actually don't even regret any of the decisions that were made about the car dealership and the bankruptcy and any of that stuff. I don't regret any of those things happening because they all were lessons that were learned into decisions that would later come into play where maybe I'm a little bit more critical or a little bit more forward thinking into the decisions that I make.
So Todd, you've walked us through several of the tough decisions you've made. I'd like for you to kind of talk a little bit about the strategies that you use to make these difficult decisions. How do you approach, when you have to make a choice, a difficult choice, how do you approach that and get to a place where you're ready to move in a certain direction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a huge, huge advocate of the gym. And any days, look, I'm like anybody else like that. Everybody has bad days. You get stressed out. You don't feel good. Like right now, I mean, honestly, like I've been feeling under the weather the last couple of days, like sinuses and stuff like that. And, where I need to release either that stress or if I need to clear my mind, I get on the treadmill at the gym and I run. And currently, I run 3 to 4 miles a day on the treadmill. A lot of physical guys or fitness guys will tell you that is not probably the best thing in the world for your body. I disagree. And I don't do it necessarily for my body. I do it to clear my mind. When I'm on the treadmill, I have my AirPods in, I'm listening to music. I'm able to kind of make everything else go away. And any runners out there, anybody out there that goes to a gym knows that when you're in that state of mind, your mind kind of clears and it becomes almost like uber focused on just that run. And I also believe that when you sweat, it's actually releasing a lot of the stress that you currently have in your body. So when you're sweating, it's almost like you're physically getting rid of the negative energy that you're dealing with. And it sounds kind of kooky, but it works for me. Those are my meditative times, honestly, when I'm pushing my body physically. It really helps kind of alleviate a lot of the stress and pressures and helps me make decisions based on situations that I'm currently dealing with, where I can stop in the middle of that workout and I can sit down for a second and go, okay, now I've got, 15 minutes to myself where in a quiet room where I can sit and I can really think this out. And what is the next best step for me? And I think a lot of that, guys, I think it comes with age too. I'm going to be 40 in December and, the 22, 23-year-old Todd, very impulsive, hothead, smart mouth, punk kid, 40 years old. I'm thinking things through a little bit more before I make a decision or before I speak. So the gym has done great things for me. A lot of people use prayer. A lot of people use meditation from a standpoint of, yoga or things of that nature. For me, it is pushing my body in the gym to help clear my mind to make those decisions.
All right, we're going to take a short break and hear from one of our show sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk to Todd about some of his favorites as it relates to his life as an entrepreneur.
Have you ever thought about investing in real estate, but find yourself so busy that you don't have time for it? Do you have FOMO, which is the fear of missing out? At HanfordCapital.com, we help investors with passive real estate investments that project better returns than traditional investment vehicles such as the stock market. If you'd like to find out more about our passive real estate investments, visit HanfordCapital.com. That's HANDFORD Capital.com. We will jump on a call with you to discuss your investment goals and to see if our investments are a good fit for you. This advertisement is not to be construed as an offer or recommendation to buy or sell a security. Visit HanfordCapital.com.
And we are back with Todd Collins, and we're going to go through a series of quick questions and answers that we call the trifecta. And Todd, I want you to get us started by talking about your favorite technology that you use in business that helps make your life easier every day.
Oh, man, Evernote. If you guys don't use the Evernote application, that is the end-all be-all. With somebody with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, anxiety, and everything else I don't know whether that you can think of as an entrepreneur, if you're not diagnosed with it, you end up getting it as an entrepreneur. Evernote is the scheduling application that really helps me kind of stay ahead of the game. So every night I kind of go back through and schedule everything out that I need to do. And it gives me a notification on my phone like, hey, and a perfect example would be this podcast. 20 minutes before the podcast, it prompted me to be like, be ready for your podcast in 20 minutes. So it's almost like my conscience talking to me through my device. So my Evernote app is a big savior. Little known secret, really cool thing. Like if you're into like digital marketing, Shaker, SHAKR is a really cool digital application. If you're into like personal branding, you can use that software. It's $100 a month, but it's well worth it. And it can really help kind of elevate your branding story, which is really, really cool. I highly recommend that one. But for 100%, Evernote is my saving grace.
How do you spell that second technology again? Just make sure we have that.
Yeah, Shaker, SHAKR.com. It's a bit of an investment, but it really helps kind of bring some entertainment towards the personal branding side of your business. And it's quick, it's easy. You can do it from your phone. It's a really cool little technology.
Okay. And what's a favorite quote that you've heard that has helped you as an entrepreneur? There's
a quote that I used to tape to the front of my desk when I was in the car business. And it's actually a quote that I still say today constantly. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. And I always say to people, I'm like, don't use other people's quotes, use your own. But that one has always stuck with me. And that kind of I've always used that quote as the push to stay ahead of everyone else.
What's a favorite book that you've read that's helped your decision making?
Hands down, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Best book I've ever read. And I'll still have the original copy I have. And it's got notes riddled through it. But that is the best self-help, sales, anything entrepreneurial book out there on the market.
And what's the next thing for you right now, Todd, on your vision or dream board?
So my dream board, it's actually kind of funny. My dream board, I just have a massive $2 million RV that I eventually want to buy. And that's where I'm going to spend the rest of my days. That's on my dream board. But in the near future, we're getting ready to launch Reputation Domination. Since reputation management is kind of where our focus has always been in our agency. We decided that it was time for us to kind of share all our formulas and all our secrets with other people out there that are kind of, stuck in that 9 to 5. They're stuck in that, salesy job that they don't like or whatever it is. And so we took about 60 hours and did a well thought out video course on reputation management and how to start your own digital agency. And it takes you all the way through from A to Z. Talking with our accountants, talking with our attorneys, everything, how to start a business, all of it. It's all wrapped up into one online course for people. And to me, that the sharing of the knowledge that I've been able to get is really become kind of my next thing. And I guess as I move into that 40-year-old stage of my life, it's about sharing the knowledge now and helping people kind of move up the ladder. So I'm almost to a point where I'm not really an entrepreneur anymore. I feel like I'm more of an empower-neur, where I'm trying to empower other entrepreneurs to become entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs to become entrepreneurs. So that's where my passion and where we're kind of focusing right now.
So Todd, how can the listeners reach out to you if they want to contact you or follow you more?
I cast a wide net on social media. Where I spend most of my time is Instagram. You can follow me at Todd Collins Official on Instagram, Facebook at Todd Collins Official, LinkedIn at Todd Collins Official, Twitter at Reputation Todd. My website's toddcollinsofficial.com. I'm on Snapchat too under Click Crew, KLIQCREW. So again, casting a wide net, but you can find me at Todd Collins Official pretty much anywhere.
And we'll make sure that we put those links to all those various platforms on the show notes, which can be found at toughdecisions.net. And Todd, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today on the podcast. We look forward to continuing to follow you and as you continue to grow as an entrepreneur, and look forward to having you on a future podcast.
Dan, thank you guys so much. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Tough Decisions Network. Be sure to visit toughdecisions.net to gain access to show notes for this episode and to join our free weekly entrepreneur email, where we will send you news about the latest technology for your business, inspiring quotes, and the latest books for entrepreneurs. That's toughdecisions.net.